Welcome to Conversations with Di. Thank you for joining the show, Keisha. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hey, Diana, thanks so much for having me.
And just a little bit about Keisha. She's the founder of Fleek Keeks Beauty and one of Toronto's top makeup artists and custom beauty and skincare specialists. She's recognized by Best Toronto and Clever Canadian. She started as a broke college student with no clients or connections and has grown her craft into an internationally recognized career with work featured in Canada, the US, Africa, and the front cover of globally published magazines. Keisha helps clients feel confident, radiant, and truly themselves through personalized beauty and skincare. Again, welcome to the show, Keisha. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, first, tell us about yourself. What is your backstory? I always like a good origin story. Share with the audience who is Keisha.
Yeah, I mean, with my origin story, it kind of started a while back, a few years back. I was in school. I fell in love with makeup. I think my passion for makeup started when I was really young. I started to dabble in it when I was like 13, 14, because I would always see my older sisters put on makeup. And I'm like, wow, the eyeshadow, the colors, I want to start doing stuff like this too. So
Mhm.
after when I started getting into high school, I started to play around with makeup a little bit more. And, as you start something for the first time, you're really bad at it. So um, I tried to create a smoky eye look. And my sister literally told me, like, did you get in a fight? Like, what's wrong with you? You look like you got punched in the face. And so I was
Oh
like,
my
wow, okay.
goodness, really?
Yes, she did. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to keep trying and getting better at it. And the more that I did it, the more that, I would start to go to school, people would start complimenting me and being like, hey, how did you get your eyes like that? How did you do your foundation like that? Like, I started to get a lot of compliments, and it led to me doing makeup for like my friends' grad photos and prom and things like that. And
Mhm.
they kind of gave me the idea to start charging people for this. And at that time, I was pretty much at the end of high school, and grade 12 is such a pivotal moment for a lot of people stepping into adulthood, because now you have to decide what your path is.
Yes.
And so with my parents, my mom, she's a traditional Caribbean Jamaican parents, and
Hmm.
um, you know, their routes or career routes are only, one of three things. If you're not a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, accountant, any of those things, then you're not considered
Yes.
much of anything, right?
Hmm.
So I went to school for kinesiology and health science, and I got my Bachelor of Science in that. But while I was doing my studies in school, in university, there was just something that kept calling like to me with when it came to beauty.
Hmm.
So I knew that I wanted to do something related to beauty. I just didn't know what or how to go about it. And so I am a Christian, and so I prayed on it a lot, and I would have conversations with God about it. And He revealed to me just different opportunities that led to other opportunities. And the more that I leaned into what I would call my calling, I started to kind of lean into doing the makeup thing. And so I
Hmm.
started doing a lot of collaborations with different creatives, like different creative photo shoots. And I realized that I really, really like photography based makeup, like anything in front of a camera is something that I really enjoyed. And
Hmm.
the more that I started to lean into it, the more that people started to, you know, inquire or message me and be like, hey, I want to work with you on this, or hey, can you do this kind of look? And, one thing led to another. And even though there were a lot of hiccups, I've been scammed, I've been, taken
Oh.
advantage of, and I've been, put through the ringer. And there's lots of, moments in my career where I felt, not respected, not valued as a part of the team. There were lots of opportunities that I also got overlooked for or turned down. I've had a lot of agencies that I've reached out to in the past that told me,
Hmm.
my work was mediocre, it wasn't good enough. And so, I didn't let that stop me, because my mission and what, like, the drive and the passion for the craft and the art meant more to me than those rejections. And I knew that they
Hmm.
would lead me to the opportunities that I was looking for. And that's what ended up happening. And so if you fast forward to now, the old me who started a few
Yes.
years ago would have never thought that I would be able to achieve the things that I've been able to achieve. And so yeah, it's been an ongoing journey. Like, of course, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely, headed in the right direction. And it's led to me, again, having starting with no clients to having clients abroad, being able to travel for my work, to have it being featured in publications and billboards and things like that. And to me, all of that is just so cool. And getting to work with, highly influential people and high profile people, both within Canada, outside of Canada,
Mm-hmm.
is also, such an amazing thing as well.
It's an amazing story, Keisha, and just it's a testament to the your resilience and your determination. And I do believe, as you mentioned before, you are a Christian, so obviously your faith tied into that would have played a huge part in you being, very steadfast and consistent in your journey. Talk a bit or tell us a bit more about that first, because you mentioned it earlier with regards to just now, you mentioned it with regards to being told that your work was mediocre. How did you pivot from that? Did you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to take this class or I'm going to get a mentor? Like, what was the turning point for you that made you decide that, you know what? I'm going to take the criticism, but I'm going to also use it to fuel me or to propel me to keep going forward, keep moving forward and not look back.
Yeah, for sure. So what kept me going and helped me to overcome the rejections? I think as a creative, we can be very sensitive when it comes to our work because that's like our baby, our child,
Mm-hmm.
and we can be very protective of that. But one thing that I've learned in my years of experience is that you have to be open to criticism, constructive criticism, of course.
Yeah.
And taking everything with a grain of salt, I think, is something that I learned very early on in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Is to take everything with a grain of salt. Um, Take what sticks with you and kind of implement it if it applies, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
discard the rest. Don't let it attack you as a person because the criticism isn't, pointed at you as the failure. You have to reframe it in your mind in a way where it's something that is a stepping stone to get you to the next level. And so that's the perspective that I looked at it as. And around that time, I had come across custom makeup, which is another really cool thing that I specialize in my business. Is, I apply makeup, but I also
Yes.
create it as well. And
Yes.
once I started to dabble more into that skill, I that was something that I went to go get certified for because I loved the system, I loved the process, and I went to classes to get my certification in it. And then I started offering it as a service to clients. And that kind of is what took my career to the next level because, people saw me as the makeup artist, but then also the girl that was the beauty solutionist. So they would come to me and be like, oh, the main concern with a lot of my clients is what's the good foundation? What's a good color? What's a good shade? And for myself, I struggled with finding a foundation. I would always have to use like two or three, mix them together, add a concealer, put a drop of this, and it just became too much and it's not
Wow.
sustainable. And so once I came across custom makeup, that was what really gave me that boost. And people came to me for makeup, they came to me for that. And it helped me to kind of set myself apart from other, really great artists within the city, within, the world. And so it's something that I fell in love with. And it also helped me understand color theory and how to really make sure that the complexion is right for the face, because that's the main important thing when you're dealing with clients that are in front of the camera, is to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
the base is correct. And so when I started to dabble in custom makeup, it helped me understand color theory better. It helped me understand how to make looks more long lasting. And so I feel like that helped me to really elevate my skills in ways that I didn't have before.
That's interesting. I do recognize that you do your own custom blends, and I think in this day and age where people are looking for more customization, where it's a not
Mhm.
one size fits all makeup look. And I think a lot of beauty companies are trying to go that route. Do you find there are a lot of people who are looking outside of those traditional brands and going to someone like yourself who is willing to give them a more personalized approach? Because even with I'm not going to call the names out, even with the big beauty brands out there, they're not going to give me something, well, as far as I'm aware, maybe they do, I don't know, something that is for Diana or something that is for Keisha, but you actually do something that is specifically catering to that specific person's shade and all of that. Um, is that, do you find that you're getting more of demand? There's more of a demand out there for your
Oh yeah,
services where that's concerned?
absolutely. Over the years, because the beauty industry is like a $4.9 billion industry, and I find a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't really explore the different avenues of the beauty industry within the realm of makeup. Even there's so
Yes.
much, but people kind of stick to one. It's either film or weddings, film or weddings. That's kind of like the typical avenue that people take, but there's so many other things you can do, and custom makeup was at the time not something I heard a lot of people doing. Not too many
Yeah.
people knew about it. But it's actually a really big thing internationally. And so I
Mm.
definitely think that there's such a huge demand for customization. And it's kind of like what you described, having something for yourself that is specifically designed for you, having that personalized experience that you can't really find in the stores, coming to
Mhm.
an expert that doesn't make you feel overwhelmed or judge you. Because those are some feedback that I have received from clients who would go into traditional beauty stores and they would talk to the girl at the makeup counter, or they were speaking to someone that didn't really understand like their skin type and their skin tone, and they didn't feel heard, and then they ended up purchasing products or getting solutions that weren't really the best fit for them. And
Exactly.
so I really love being able to add that extra depth of care and service to the clients that sit in my chair.
And I think that's very important. So, how do people get to work with you? Do you do virtual? So, for instance, if someone you mentioned that you travel. So, do you go to clients who request your services like outside of Canada? Or do they come to you like those who are nearby? Like, how can people get your services? Or is it
Mhm.
something that they can just order online and you click, click, click? Can you walk us through just briefly what that looks like, a consultation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can actually go both ways. So I'm 100% mobile. With I want to say like 99% of my clients, I do house calls, so I go to them, and that could be whether they're within the city, they're close to me, or they're further away. That I
Okay.
will travel to them, and so with my makeup services, I usually do go to the clients. With custom blend, it can go. Uh, I go to them, or I also do private workshops as well, which is
Okay.
something that's really fun. So if someone's getting married and they just want to do like a bridal party activity or like a
Mm-hmm.
girls fun activity, I can do private workshops centered around beauty, makeup, skincare, custom blend, and all
Mm-hmm.
of these things. And I also do this virtually as well, which is a very interesting process that I also got trained on, and it came in clutch because COVID happened a few years
Yes.
ago, and I had a lot of friends who were kind of halted and unsure of what to do with their business because they couldn't see their clients.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, but thank goodness Zoom was not a platform that I was new to when COVID happened. And so I was already kind of doing virtual meetings for people who
Mm-hmm.
didn't live close to me. And so when COVID happened, it was just, instead of seeing them in person, I was doing the blending online. So I would do
Yes.
you see how we're on Zoom or Teams right now? That's how I would be talking with my clients, and I would mix for them their product, and we would be having a conversation while I'm creating the product right in front of them,
Okay. And then it's shipped to them,
and
I
then I
guess, I'm
ship it to
assuming.
them. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
interesting. That's very interesting. And that and I'm thinking for persons who may not know where you're located. So just speak to us because there'll be people viewing from other countries outside of Canada. So specifically, where in Canada are you located? And specifically, if someone is going to be working with you, they can be in any country, or you specifically deal with certain countries right now?
So I'm
Just
open
out of
to
curiosity.
any country. I have done custom blends for clients in the UK, so Europe,
Mm.
Australia, like pretty much anywhere around the world. I'm
Wow.
able to service and ship out if needed. Where I'm located within Canada is a nice little town called Scarborough. It's on the east end of
Yes.
Toronto. So
Yes.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I actually I can say this. I've actually met Keisha. We met at a an event, maybe gosh, not quite a year ago, but it was so really nice because we met virtually at first.
Yes,
And just to
last
meet you in
summer.
person, that was so amazing. She was actually taller than I expected.
You
She's
were
like,
shorter than
she
I
said, "Oh, you're so short." I think I've shrunk a little bit to be honest with you, but yeah, it was really a pleasure. So have you ever met any of your clients like who would have met you virtually for the makeup? Have you ever met any in person? Well, I'm sure you have because you said you've done runway work or work for other people outside of Canada, so you would have had to meet them to for them to be photographed and you do their makeup before they're photographed, right?
Yes, yes, I've connected with so many people virtually that I got to meet in person. So when I went to do New York Fashion Week 2 years ago, that was
Oh,
such an amazing experience. And
mm,
there were a couple of photographers and models that I had connected with through Instagram and on Zoom. The model that I was working with for the runway show, we flew out together and we had projects scheduled outside of the actual show. And so
mm.
we connected with this really cool photographer that lives there. And it was just so cool to see him in person. And even just with clients that I've done on Zoom during COVID, I might see them at like a different event happening that's not really related to beauty, but just like a fun event that I went to, and I'd see them there, and they'd be like, "Hey, oh my gosh, hi, how are you?" And it's almost like we were best friends, and we
Yeah.
knew each other for a long time. Because even when we met last summer, that's how it
Hmm.
felt. It was like, "Oh my gosh, like
Yes.
we already knew each
We
other."
always, yes, it's just like, we just saw each other last week. It was just so amazing. And let me tell you guys, she's so warm. The way you see her now, what you see is what you get. She is very, very personable, very fun loving, outgoing, and she'll put you at ease right away. And I'm actually really honored that she would agree to, have be a guest on the show because she is highly sought after. I've been following her journey for quite some time. And yeah, it's just basically really admire I have full admiration for your work, Keisha, and I really wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And I know you're going to go really, really far. And to know that you started at a place where you had to learn the ropes and you got criticized for it and you dealt with the rejection, and here you are today is just a testament to your determination and your faith. And I'm just going to ask you one last thing. Of everything that you've been through, can you tell us about a specific moment in time, if you can recall, that taught you a valuable lesson that you can share with the audience, who someone may be going through something difficult right now, and that specific example comes to mind that could probably give them some encouragement? Because it's a positive show and I really want to leave our audience with something positive that maybe they can take away from something you learned during your journey in the makeup industry.
Okay, I wouldn't say that it's a particular instance, rather instances that
Mm-hmm.
fall along the same theme. So um, one thing that I think really changed the game for me was understanding that there's a whole world of people out there, and there's so much opportunity out there, and you do not have to be limited or feel restricted or feel like you can't grow because the people or environment around you or closest to you are not helping you grow. There are so
Mm-hmm.
many people in the world that will look at your business, what you're, what you offer, what you do, and they'll get it. They'll see the vision, they'll feel empowered by what it is that you're sharing and what it is that you're doing. And those are your people. Those are the people that are going to help you succeed, and help you grow. And so it's just a matter of, and I know it's really cliche, but like never give up. One Bible verse that I think has really stuck with me over the years, especially for the past maybe year or so. The end of last year, I given my life to Christ. I got baptized, and
Oh,
they asked us to,
congratulations.
thank you, and they asked us to, pick a quote that kind of sticks with you and impacts your life. And so, one scripture that really resonates with me is Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, which
Mm,
basically says, "Never grow weary of doing good, for in due time you will reap if you don't give up."
people have this. Mm.
And so that I always keep that in the back of my head. It's not about the praise from the people around me. It's not about followers. It's not even about the money. Like, money is something that comes
It's a
as a
byproduct.
byproduct of what you're doing, but it's really about living a life that glorifies God, and people will see that and want to come to know God. So it's doing his work in the kingdom. That should be the focus.
And on that note, I think we should end by saying thank you so much. I believe that God is going to do great things through you. And as a result of you being obedient and sharing your gift with the world, you will reap the reward that you deserve. Thank you so much, Keisha. How can we connect with you? Is there a specific website, or are you on Instagram, LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I'm on all platforms except TikTok. But Instagram is at Fleek_Keeks, and my LinkedIn is my first and last name, so Keisha Gregory. And you can also look at my website to see my work and follow along with my journey, at www.fleekkeeksbeauty.com.
Amazing. Thank you, Keisha, for sharing your details. And for those of you who missed it, don't worry. I'll drop them in the description below, so you can always feel free to check it out under the video. Thanks again for joining us, Keisha, and for our audience out there listening or watching. Thanks for tuning in, and listen out for the next episode of Conversations with Di. Thank you.
Thank you.